Yeah, 2 Omni negates, baby.
You know what I'm
Woo! God.
All gas.
I'm so good. Holy shit, this deck is cracked, yo.
The striker deck is like your ex-girlfriend that you really don't want to see, but she keeps popping up on your Instagram feed. What's going on, guys? My name is Susu from Head-to-Head Battles, and in today's episode, we're going to be going over Sky Striker Therions, which I truly do believe is going to be an amazing deck moving into the format with some additions of the new Therion cards and Mystic Mine. If you guys like content like this, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment. Hit that notification bell down below and comment down below if you agree or disagree with my tech choices and what you would put to make this deck even better. And as always, if this video gets 500 likes, we're going to be doing a live duel video with this deck versus whatever deck that I'm going to pick in the comments section. All right, so I don't want to waste any more of your time. Let's get straight into this deck profile. Okay, we're going to be going over the main deck and the extra deck, but for the side deck, instead of showing you what I'm playing, we're going to go over the theory after this deck profile, so do not go anywhere. Let's get started. So the first 3 cards we are playing is Sky Striker Ace Ray. Most of the time, if you can see this card, you are pretty much winning the game. And luckily, we have multiple ways into it. All right, next, we are playing double Sky Striker Ace Rose. This card is really, really good in conjunction into the deck because 1, you can out Dragoons with it, and it helps you extend and punch for a game. Next, we're playing 2 new cards in the form of Therion, King, Regulus. Now, this card is really good and does alter your turn 1 combo just a little bit, making you go into another striker monster instead of straight into Shizuku. But this card basically will target a machine in the graveyard, summon itself, and then equip that machine to itself, and then you contribute itself to get an Omni Negate, clearing your main monster zone. Okay, next, for our hand traps, we are playing triple Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. Now, Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring is really good in the meta right now because of Branded Fusion. Basically, if you Ash Branded Fusion, most of the time they will end up passing their turn unless they have Fright for Patchwork and other ways to, fusion summon. Next, we are playing triple Effect Veiler. Effect Veiler in this deck serves a multitude of purposes. 1, obviously, it's a great hand trap to draw, but 2, it allows you to OTK with Selene because you can summon it off of Halka Fibrax, okay? That's it for our monster lineup. Next, we are playing triple Therion Disc Coliseum. Now, I am missing one because I let somebody borrow it, but Therion Disc Coliseum says, when you activate this card, you can add a Regulus to your hand, essentially giving you 5 copies of Regulus, right? In addition, with terraforming and set rotation, we have 7 waves to Therion King Regulus. On top of that, it offers you battle protection. When your monsters would be destroyed by battle, you can send a Therion or an Endless Engine Argyro system to the graveyard, which is actually insane, because if you have one or the other, you'll be able to add the Regulus back to your hand. Okay, next, we are playing 2 copies of Mystic Mine and the 1 copy of Area 0. Now, Mystic Mine, there is this large controversy, okay? But in my opinion, I think Mystic Mine is a really good card in decks like this because it does what it needs to do, buying you an extra turn so that you can, recur the resources to win the game. Now, Area 0 is another copy of Ray and will allow you to excavate 3 cards to add you, hopefully, a card that you need. Next, we are playing 1 terraforming, 1 set rotation, and 1 endless engine Argyro system. So we're playing terraforming and set rotation because we have 3 different field spells in our deck. So set rotation most of the time will not be a dead card in your hand. Now, most of the time, if you are playing only 2 field spells and you only play 1 of one and 3 of another, but you draw one of each field spell and set rotation, set rotation is basically a dead card. Now, Endless Engine Argyro System is a really good card because you can Foolish Burial it off the effect of Therion Disc Coliseum, which is really cool. And when this card and Regulus is in the graveyard, you can put this card to the bottom of your deck and add the Regulus to your hand, which is really, really cool. All right, next, we're playing triple Widow Anchor. Widow Anchor is really, really good because it allows you to push for game, while not just, being able to negate a monster. So I think Widow Anchor is really cool. And, this deck requires a bit of setup, which means you're going to need a turn or 2, maybe 3, to get you the cards you need to really push for game. And Widow Anchor will really help that. Next, we are playing double Shark Cannon. Shark Cannon is really good because one, you can banish DPE, which is really, really good. But if you need to push for game, you can Shark Cannon summon back their Ash or their Veiler to go into a Howl combo, which is really, really cool. Next, we are playing one Afterburners. We only play one because we have multiple ways to sort of clear our opponent's boards, and this card really isn't that great, okay? Next, we are playing one multi-roll, one Hornet Drones, and one Sky Striker Mobile Engage. So, multi-roll is really insane of a card, and it does a lot, and a lot of people have this misunderstanding that it's like not that great. Now, multi-roll basically makes it so that your spells cannot be responded to, which is insane. And the thing about Hornet Drones is a lot of people in the end phase will go Shizuku at Engage, but sometimes I think Shizuku at Hornet Drones is much better because if you lose access to Ray on turn 2, turn 3, you can Hornet Drones and get your Engage that way anyways, okay? Next, we are playing one Eagle Booster, one Reinforcement of the Army, and one Change of Heart. Rhoda is basically another copy of Ray, and Eagle Booster is really cool because you don't only have to target, you know, your striker monsters. You can use it on anything else, which is really, really nice. And Change of Heart is a really cool tech because not only is it a Widowmaker that, you know, obviously that doesn't negate, but it's a Widowmaker that doesn't negate. And what I mean by that is you can Change of Heart and then use the effect of the monster that you've taken, which is insane. And finally, we are playing one Call by the Grave because sometimes you do want your Therion Disc Coliseum to really resolve, and Call by the Grave will obviously get you there. Okay, next, we are playing triple Forbidden Droplet. I think Forbidden Droplet is a really good card, but you can argue that you lose card advantage with this card. But if you weren't going to kind of break apart your opponent's board anyways, all that card advantage generally doesn't matter. So I think Forbidden Droplet is a must in this deck. And finally, for our main deck, we're playing triple Infinite Impermanence. Imprim is really nice in conjunction with Ash and or Veiler because most of the time, if you can hand trap your opponent twice and have a way to Ray, you're in a really good spot. So I think, you know, bumping up, you can even bump up your hand trap lineup to 12 by adding maybe triple Ogre or double Ogre 1 Bell. But I think this way the deck is built is still really, really good. Okay, so let's move over to our extra deck. We are playing triple Sky Striker Hayate. Hayate is really nice. I don't recommend dumping Engage off of Hayate simply because you can get a DD crowed and you'll never see it ever again. Okay, next, we are playing triple Sky Striker Ace Kagari. Now, Kagari is really good because obviously, you know, you can grab back any Sky Striker spell from your graveyard, which will help you immensely, especially if you have a Widow Anchor in there, or even the Engage, or even the multi-roll. Now, I really don't recommend dumping multi-roll off of anything, but you have that option too. Next, we are playing 3 Sky Striker Ace Shizuku. I think Shizuku is a really good card, but again, in the end phase, try not to always search the Engage because, you know, if you add Hornet Drones and you have no, you know, out to Ray, or rather, if your opponent's outs the Ray, you can Engage into another Ray, but if you have Hornet Drones, you can Hornet Drones, go into, you know, your Link ones, and then Engage for a card that you actually will need. Okay, next, we are playing 1 Kaina and 1 Zeke. This is to wrap up our Sky Striker Link package, and we are playing 1 the Dark Charmer Gloomy. This card is really good because in the Despia matchup, they pretty much only have Darks, so I think Dark is really, really good, and you can even take their DPE, which is really, really nice. And finally, we have our Hulk, Celine, and our access code Talker. Now, this deck with Therion King Regulus can push for game a little bit easier, but I think that this combo line right here is probably your best bet. And now, with the addition of Therion King Regulus, you know, you don't really have to do all that much to be able to push for game because Regulus plus Access Code Talker will be 8,100 freaking damage. Now, let's move over to our side deck theory.
All right, guys, so let's talk some side deck theory for Sky Striker. So on the screen, you're going to see we have some cards in the side deck, quote unquote. The first card that I do want to talk about is Dimensional Barrier. This card is really good because 1, you can stop your opponent from synchro summoning and fusion summoning, which is really, really dope. And there are some instances where the whole XC summoning thing also does come into play if you ever do run into your random Grand Module player, or a rank 8 turbo or a rank 4 turbo deck. And this card is also going to be really good against the Splight engine when we do get it in August. The next card that I do want to talk about is Trap Trick. Trap Trick is really good because, one, it will allow you to get a free dimensional barrier, which is really, really dope. And even if you draw multiples, unless you draw all 3, you can still resolve Trap Trick, which is really, really nice. Next, we are playing Artifact Sanctum. I think Artifact Sanctum is a really good card because it does allow you to get into Artifact Scythe, and you can pop it with MST. So not only do you get to fuel your graveyard with the spell card, you also lock your opponent out of the extra deck, which is really nice. And obviously, we also do have to play Scythe in conjunction with Sanctum, and it never hurts to hard draw Sanctum like to begin with. All right, guys. Next. Triple Mystical Space Typhoon. I think this is a really good choice in the striker deck because, one, it allows you to Scythe lock your opponent, and 2, it just, acts as a form of back row removal, and also you can MST your own field spell to get you a Ray that way. So there is a lot of synergies there. Next, we are playing Lightning Storm. Sky Strikers do have some trouble against back row decks, especially if they do have floodgates like, Tikaboo, Gojin, Rivalry, Mystic Mine, whatever it may be. Most of the time, Lightning Storm is really good, especially if you're going second and that is going to resolve. Because, you can argue that you can't LS if you already have monsters on the field, but, generally going second, you're going to start with Lightning Storm, right? Next, we're playing the One Duster. Obviously, it's a one-of. It's still a really good card. And we're playing triple Raigeki. I think Raigeki is really good in the format right now because if you bait out their one Omni Negate, because most boards only put up one Omni Negate, you can easily Raigeki away their entire board, bringing yourself back into a simplified game state, which is really important for the striker matchup, right? Another card you can play is your third Mystic Mine. So you can play 3 Mystic Mines in the main deck, wrapping up our side deck theory. All right, guys, that's it for me today. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment. Hit that notification bell down below and comment down below if you agree or disagree with any of the cards that I've picked for the deck, and comment down below what cards that you would choose to make this deck even better. And like I said, guys, get this video to 500 likes. We're going to be doing a live duel between this deck and another deck that I might pick out of the comment section, so comment that down as well. All right, guys, so I don't want to waste any more of your time. My name is Susu from Head to Head Battles, signing out.
What's up, guys?
If you haven't subscribed, make sure to click that button right there in the middle.
Also, if you haven't watched that video that YouTube is recommending you, it's probably crazy, all right? Go watch it. This is Susu from Head to Head Battles,
Head to Head Battles,
signing out.